Hello, everybody, and welcome to Barber Motorsports Park in Leeds, Alabama for Season 2, Race 21 of the NCS SimRacing Challenge season. We've got an exciting race for you on the famous IndyCar circuit. It is a wonderful, beautiful race course. 23 laps around for the Whelen 400. And up in the booth, we have none other than Truck Series driver Ricardo Garcia. Mr. Garcia, how are you doing today?
Yeah, I'm doing pretty good. Pretty excited to see hopefully some good racing. It's just truly an amazing track, and I hope we can do it justice with this race.
Hopefully. So, one of your favorite courses in IndyCar, you've said, Mr. Garcia, and hopefully these Cup cars do it justice for today's race. Alrighty, cars are going to roll off here. We're going to take a look at our current standings here after race number 20. Garcia, look at these. These point standings are incredibly interesting so far. Yeah. Rowe in the lead, 603. Marnell, a few points back. Fridge, 20 points back of Marnell. And then Francis, look at Francis sitting in 4th. We have McDaniel in 5th. Who would have thought Ian McDaniel being in 25th? Or being in 5th after being in 35th earlier this season.
Yeah, that is one remarkable comeback, I gotta say.
And McDaniel there starting on the front row, but it is the road course master of the season thus far, Garrett Lamar, taking the pole as we're going to take a look at our starting lineup. Row number 1, Lamar, with yet another pole this season, Ian McDaniel alongside him. Row 2, LJ Toledo and Tom Gill. Row 3, Christopher Marnell and Arwin Basic. Row 4 sees Rory Sharp and Harry Williams, the winningest driver in the NCS SimRacing Challenge. Nathan Stapleton and Jonah Burridge make up Row 5. Colin Scarborough and Axel Rocha make up row number 6. Row 7 sees Mitchell Collins and Eris Yuko. Keith Hughes and Jimothy Sharp in the 42 make up row number 8. Row 9 sees Hayden Phillips and the 27 of Sean McKean. Row 10, Boston Jones and Rue Sharp in the number 24. Row 11 sees Christian Vargas and James Sharp. Row 12, Richard Fridge starting a little bit behind in the field, as well as Michael Guthrie alongside him. Row 13 sees Nick Roten and Umar Alkeen. Row 14, Barney Thresher and Spencer Davis. Row 15, Henry Guo needs a good result for today, and Abby Lane. Row 16, Joshua Harrison and David Kreutz. 3 wins on the season, Alexander Rowe and Sam Francis, 2 championship contenders in row 17. Row 18 sees Greg Rowland and Aaron Hunter. Row 19, Jerry Chen and Jacob Dabo. Then rounding out the field, Josh Moore and Nelson Reeves did not post a qualifying time. He starts 40th. Very interesting how the drivers play out. We have Christopher Marnell, who needs to make up some points, starting in 6th. We have the 37 and 52 both starting in the rear. It's going to be very interesting to watch out for today. Isn't that right, Mr. Garcia?
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting. For Marnell, Fridge, and Harrison, there's this very crucial race. Although, Fridge especially, he has not done himself any favors coming into it. So it's going to be interesting to see what moves he does in the race.
What's the strategy looking like for today, Ricardo? You've driven here before. You've talked with the drivers. You've talked with the teams on how they'll be doing. What are we looking at for today?
Well, it's a warm day in Alabama, so we're expecting to see maybe pit stops around lap 12, lap 13, but if you do not time it right, the tires will degrade and you'll lose maybe about 5 seconds, which in theory doesn't sound like that much, but as soon as you start racing, you'll notice a big difference.
Alrighty, creeping towards the start-finish line. Garrett Lamar, Ian McDaniel. Here we go. Green flag is out. We're underway, heading into turn 1.
Garrett with a very good start, actually.
As the field flies by Lamar gets a good advantage over Ian McDaniel as they head into turns 1 and 2.
Yeah, that's just textbook right there. That's what you want to do. Get away from the pack, build a gap, and, hope the second place guy just gets caught up in a battle.
Well, McDaniel definitely did not get caught up in a battle, but he is staying content about a few car lengths behind Mr. Marnell there. He
Ooh.
got a little loose, and now he's going to be 3 wide there for position with Jonah Burge and Rory Sharp. Rory Sharp's going to get along the outside to make the pass, dives into the inside, and now Marnell through the little S curve before another hairpin is on the outside.
Yeah, that is just definitely not the start he wanted. He lost positions there, and who knows? He might lose more if he doesn't get the car back together.
Now the thing with that little corner right there, as we see Jerry Chen kicking up some dust, that corner, you want to run the middle of it really. So Marnell had they had the opportune line going through there, and forcing Nathan Stapleton onto the bottom really made Nathan Stapleton check up more than Chris was doing, and gave him the position back.
Yeah, very smart move from Chris there. He basically forced him on the worst line, and it paid off.
Exiting the final corner, as you can see, these guys, the racing line that the Indy cars run is going to be a little bit different than these Cup cars. They're obviously much bigger. You can see them sliding through turn 1.
Yeah, it's just, these things are very interesting to handle. They are much more power than the Indy cars, I feel, and definitely a bit less on the grip side. Oh, Chris goes off, way off.
Marnell goes into the dirt. He's going to be losing quite a few spots there. Not good for the race that he needs to try to gain points on Alexander Rowe, who has been silently making up some positions.
Right.
I mean,
right.
that wasn't good there for him.
Yep. Oh, Ian's going very slow. I think he might have had an issue coming out of the turn.
Looks like he lost grip going out of the corner. And as I was mentioning earlier, you can see where the racing line is from where the Indy cars run it. They aren't running there. They're running a little bit off of it because, like you said, they have so much more power. They're also way heavier than the Indy cars, so they aren't going as fast, but they can't brake as hard as the Indy cars. So they need to devise a little bit of a different line to ensure that they get the fastest lap time possible.
Yeah, especially that comparison you were just making. We also much less downforce, For an IndyCar, you're driving a basically fighter jet on wheels, and here we're driving bathtubs with V8 strapped to them, basically. So, yeah, they have to maneuver their way around the course, basically. Oh, but as we see, very close contact there.
That's Fridge and James Sharp making a little contact there as they exit the final corner. The 32 Gulf McLaren scheme for this week. A favorite of James, but the 32 hasn't really seen speed on much tracks other than road courses. As there's Nathan Stapleton.
Oh, someone else is off.
The 4 car got launched off, and he lost a ton of time, able to get it back going, and now he's fighting with Christopher Marnell there for position.
Yeah, that turns deadly. You go off and you lose so much time based on just the cars around you getting it right.
Yeah. That is for sure. Now, the Truck Series were also at a road course this week. They raced at Road Atlanta. How was that racing there at Road Atlanta? That's a track that you've raced at before in MMCS. How was that running there at the Trucks? You ran top 5 basically the entire race.
I mean, yeah, it's just a tricky track. You just got to get the groove right. Every time, and then through the final turn, that's just down to bravery at that point. Especially in the Trucks, you really want to balance out just speed and caution. That is the best way to describe it.
Here's Henry Guo trying to work up his way through positions. There's Sam Francis and Alexander Rowe. They're also making up some positions there. As the 52 is actually going to go underneath the 1 who got very loose. And he's going to be losing some positions. And caution
there's a
comes out.
caution. Oh,
And we have
there's
a car
up and
upside
over.
down.
Oh, and he gets hit. Big hit.
Up and over went.
Who is that?
That was Nathan Stapleton, David Kreutz, and Joshua Harrison that were the ones involved in that accident. As on road courses, we race back to the line. Caution comes out here on lap 4 of 23. Garrett Lamar still in the lead.
That was a big hit. Especially after he went up and over, he got hit again. That one looked painful.
And we're going to take a good look at that replay as Garrett Lamar, with quite the gap to now the second place driver, that's Tom Gill, sitting in second as Ian McDaniel has succumbed to that 78 car. Gill has shown some speed. He's a European. He knows his way around these road courses, silently sitting in second, hoping to track down Lamar. But with this restart that'll be coming up, that'll be very good for the 78 to try to make a move.
Yeah, that 78 has been showing some speed here. If Garrett cannot get the restart right and just check all the boxes, I'm afraid that the 78 is just going to pass him and drive away.
Alrighty. Well, caution is out. Lap 5, the cars are going to slow down. Let's take a look at that replay. Ricardo, what do you think happened here? Looks like we might have some contact. Oh, slow went the 4. Must have had a problem.
I don't know. I feel like that might have been a tire. The way he just lost the car there, that looked like it could have been a tire. I don't know how it could have happened, but yeah.
Might have been. Here's on board with Joshua Harrison, so we can watch. The 4 is upside down right there, and then he was... runs right into the driver roll cage.
That one looked painful.
Man. Hard lick, and then David Kreutz just runs in right after.
Yeah.
So here's one more look at it.
Boom.
That... Hard incident there for Nathan Stapleton. No drivers came down pit road here on lap 5 of 23. So we'll be restarting on lap 7 of 23 with the drivers going double file for the restart. Nathan Stapleton, the driver who retires from the race after his crash damages. The 18 and the 85 repaired their cars and they're heading back out. They're still on the lead lap. So what do you think of this strategy here? Nobody coming down pit road, so it doesn't look like anybody is going for a different strategy. Do you think it's too early for somebody to try to short pit the field?
Yeah, I definitely think it's way too early. You'd basically be constricting yourself to a 2-stop at that point.
You'd have to be Lewis Hamilton, have to have that sort of speed to try to stay up. I mean, you did mention tire fall off, but I don't think you'd be able to really put a number on the field with a 2-stop strategy. I think you're constricted to just one. It'll just be depending on where people pit, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, it mostly depends on cautions too.
Mm-hmm. Already one caution thus far. If we see another one, that could also greatly impact how the race plays out.
Yeah, most definitely. And we are running down to the line, and we are green.
Green flag's back out once again. Tom Gill gets the jump on Lamar. Lamar has had 4 restarts this season. He hasn't been able to get the jump as drivers are going to slide through turn 1, heading into turns 2 and 3.
Yeah. I told you, Lamar had to check all the boxes in that restart if he didn't want to get past the 78. He missed maybe 1 or 2, and there's the car off.
Arwin Basic getting loose, going through. He's able to save it. He's going to be 3 wide going through this corner right here.
You see, now they kept it clean. Pretty much credit too, they kept it clean through there.
They did keep it clean there. Tom Gill in the lead. Garrett Lamar fighting with LJ Toledo for that second place position, as the 45 is going to work his way around the two of Colin Scarborough to try to keep his position. He does.
What a
He's able
beautiful
to do
move
it.
that was. Oh, someone else
On
is way off.
way off goes James Sharp. He was getting shuffled back, and then he gets sent out, and he is going to be last on the track.
That is
Not looking good for that 32 car.
Yeah, that is not what he wanted. I can guarantee you that much.
On board with Garrett Lamar as we're going to fly through the final section of corners, the final sector with that 30 car, trying to catch the 78. Look how quickly he's been able to gain on him.
I mean, yeah, who knows? Maybe the 78 is trying to save tires. He could, and then Lamar's definitely pushing more, trying to catch him and pass him. But the problem is that's just gonna shoot his tires, and he's gonna start experiencing more drop-off.
And he's got LJ Toledo right behind him, and we know Toledo certainly touts himself as a very good road racer, and credit is given where credit is due. Toledo has done extremely well in all of his road course starts this season.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to be an interesting battle.
And then McDaniel as well. That's another underrated driver on the road courses. He's done very well. Did pretty good in Season 1. Did okay in Season 2.
Oh,
Aris Yuko going 3 wide there with Christian Vargas and Spencer Davis.
Yeah, 2 wheels on the grass there. That was sketchy.
But McDaniel nearly won it at St. Pete, and he won at Watkins Glen as well. So 1 win on a road course already this season for the 26, and I would say a missed opportunity for him as well, as he lost it on that green-white checkered.
Yeah. He is definitely within a shot of winning this race. I feel like there's maybe 4 or 5 drivers who I feel like could really have a shot if this thing goes green all the way.
Yeah, I certainly think so as well. It'll definitely come down to these pit strategies, as this is Rory Sharp sitting in 6th as we were just watching him. Here's Tom Gill, the leader. But I mean, don't count out Harry Williams as well. He hasn't won on a road course, but he's shown some speed, especially at Watkins Glen. He showed speed. So, but I would have to agree with you. The top 4 probably have the best shot of winning this. Maybe Harry Williams if pit stops go his way, and then Rory Sharp would definitely be a dark horse contender for that win. If we see another yellow, that's 44 car, could make a push to the front.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, if we see a yellow at this point, I would most definitely just try and short pit, because at the point of caution laps, you just cycle out. Yeah. And
As there's Axel Rocha, he's trying to work his way through the field. Let's go on board the helmet camera for today with Christopher Marnell. You can see on the right side of your screen the gear shifter. He will be shifting up through the gears. Let's take a watch.
And I love this camera. It really shows what the drivers have to deal with in this track. Especially the elevation change. That is one key feature here. A lot of fast turns. Yeah. Oh, and he goes down the inside.
Down the inside of Colin Scarborough goes the 23 of Christopher Marnell. Makes the clean pass through turns 2 and 3. Marnell trying to gain points on Alexander Rowe. I mean, he certainly needs all the help he can get to get that points lead back. It's only 30 points. That's not that much. It might seem like a lot, especially with how Rowe has been barely beating out Marnell in these races, but it's easily obtainable for Marnell. But I don't think the speed is there for that 23 car because a win would have been awesome for him today.
I mean, I wouldn't. Nobody is out of the race fully until maybe 2 to go. If there's a caution and they can time their strategy right, he can definitely get back up there and still be within a shot of the win.
For sure. Look at these cars going through the corner. I love this camera angle as well. You can just
Yeah,
see
that
how they're sliding through.
sliding through and the speed they're carrying. I love that. Oh, Garrett's been getting really close to Gil here.
Garrett, he's going to be right on that back bumper of the 78 heading into turns 1, 2, and 3. Tom Gill needs to be perfect to try to keep this first place position. Sliding through turn 1. Getting a little out of the groove in turn 2. Going to be side by side as they go through the kink. Down the little straightaway. Into turns 4 and 5. The 30
Little
car
side by side.
They're going to be side by side. The 30 is going to pass the 78, get around him cleanly. The 78 didn't get a good exit. Garrett Lamar to the front once again here at Barber.
Yeah. Like I said, now it's this same game of cat and mouse. Will Gil be able to run him back down, or will he just fall down the order?
That was definitely something that the 78 is going to be kicking himself for because now he lost a lot of ground on the 30. And here comes the 17. Here comes the 26. I mean, Toledo and McDaniel are going to be two tough cats to try to battle around.
Yeah, he definitely did not want to end up in second now because he is in the position where you have to attack but also defend.
Well, it's going to be very interesting now. Drivers coming down pit road a little bit earlier than expected here on lap 11. We were saying the pit window was about lap 12 or 13, and that was before a caution. But now drivers all coming down pit road on lap 11. Everybody coming down.
That's shocking. Nobody tried. Oh, wait, no, there was somebody.
One driver stays out. That's Umar Al-Kim, as well as Joshua Harrison and David Kreutz. So 3 drivers staying out, and that puts the 86 in the front. But he was sitting in around 27th, 28th. So I don't know how this will play out for him.
I really like what they're doing, though. They're not going to have to deal with a traffic jam in pit road.
I agree. Coming off of pit road, the 30 keeps the position. The 78 is going to be right on that back bumper of the 30. It's all going to be about this out lap with these fresh, cold tires. How will Lamar be able to handle them? He's been spinning the tires a little bit. How will the 78 handle it?
I mean, yeah, it's just going to be down to who can put the heat in the tires first. The second that those tires get in their groove, oh boy, are they going to grip.
Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Umar Al-Kim on his worn tires, I would say he's probably pulling the same lap times as these drivers that are just coming off pit road. This is going to be critical to see if he comes out in a few positions higher than the drivers that he was racing around in about 28th.
Yeah. My guess is he's probably going to come in this lap. Yep, there he goes.
Problems for Richard Fridge on pit road. They're saying that the car is stalled and that they can't get it going.
Oh, wow, that's heartbreak right there. Fridge really need this race to claw back points, and the cars didn't want it otherwise.
So they're falling down one lap here. Joshua Harrison stays out, and the 85 of David Kreutz stays out as well. They will surely be coming down pit road as look how close the leader is. They were entering turn 1 as Lamar was on the front straightaway, and he's pulled out a sizable gap between him and the 78.
That right there between Joshua Harrison and Garrett Lamar, that right there is the tire fall off. If you didn't time your stops right, that's what you risk happening.
Yep. Well, the 18, they also have damage from the earlier incident as well, so they were already in last place. So this is just logging laps for the 18 at this point. They know that they aren't going to be getting many points, but they're hoping to get it. That's Jonah Burridge. He's sitting in sixth place.
That is
Very
a
interesting
respectable
so far.
pace right there.
Because the 18 is going to dive on the pit road now. It's a very fast pit entry. If you aren't careful, you're going into those tire barriers.
Yeah, for a second I thought I saw him go wide, and I was like, oh nope, he goes into the tires. Nah, but he kept it clean. He kept it good.
Kept it clean, and Lamar's going to pass the 18 and take the lead back here on lap 13 of 23. Now on lap 14 of 23. 10 laps to go. We're going to go on board through our field after our pit cycle is complete. Garrett Lamar in the lead. Cool, calm, and collected. I'd say he's our favorite thus far. Already 2 race wins on the year.
I mean, personally, I would not count the 78 out of it just yet. We don't know how they both are doing on tires. For all we know, Lamar could definitely be pushing more. So, yeah.
I mean, Gill is a more calm and composed driver than Lamar is. Sitting in second, he's very easygoing over the radio. No words said. He is just focused on tracking down this 30 car, forcing him into a mistake.
Yeah, as soon as those laps start ticking down, maybe around lap 20, we will definitely start seeing Gill get closer and apply more pressure to the 30.
LJ Toledo, a home race for him. He's sitting in third place. He's a little frustrated, surprisingly. He's trying to say that he needs to get faster, but Dominic Anthony on his pit box for today, he's saying just keep it calm, cool, and collected. Here's Harry Williams. He's in fourth place. He has moved his way up a few positions. That 87 car made his way around Ian McDaniel on pit road. As Ian McDaniel's right behind him. These two drivers, dark horse championship contenders. The 87 is 9th in points. Ian McDaniel 5th in points. These two, with a good points day, can really climb their way into the championship picture. Rory Chart, sitting in 6th place in the 44. You don't see the 44 up front often, but he's been doing pretty well.
Yeah, he's been running a fast, clean race. Maybe a little bit quiet, but if it has gotten him out of trouble and up there, he's doing it right.
Jonah Burridge in the 97. He's also been very quiet over the radio. He's waiting for the day that he gets his first NCS SimRacing Challenge win. If a restart happens, maybe today could be the day. Sitting in 8th place, that's Mitchell Collins in the 22. The Bones Motorsports driver showing out on these road courses. And Mitchell, just easy going thus far under the hood of his race car. Arwin Basic, we've heard some turmoil about his team, GSL. They might be questionable for next season. You never know. And finally, in 10th place, the 2 of Colin Scarborough. All 3 Bones Motorsports cars in the top 10.
That is very impressive showing right there.
Yeah, what a team performance for Bones Motorsports. I mean, all 3 cars in the top 10. You got to think, even if they don't come out with a win, team owner Ian McDaniel, he's surely going to be very happy.
I mean, I would imagine so. Top 10 in itself is not easy, but having all 3 of your cars in the top 10, that is even better.
I mean, especially with the level of competition that we see at road courses.
Yeah. The amount of close racing there is here, that is definitely some feat just to have your cars in the top 10 and on pace too.
For sure. And it's not like very many drivers that were up front. I mean, Nathan Stapleton was racing up front, so he got in that accident, but those Bones Motorsports cars do have some speed. There's the 0 of Spencer Davis with right behind him. That's the 37 of Alexander Rowe, making his way through the field, trying to gain spots on Christopher Marnell to try to limit the amount of points that he gets.
Yeah, it's Rose definitely he's definitely showing pace too. I I don't know how he's gonna try to get past these two cars at least. Yeah, I don't know if personally I would take it easy. He's got the championship lead, and as of right now, I'm not sure where he stands in points compared to Chris after this race. But if he has the lead, I would not risk losing anything more.
Arwood Basic trying to make a move underneath the 22 through turns 2 and 3 on Mitchell Collins through the little kink. A 45 went off track earlier, but the move on 8th place trying to be made by the 45. He won at St. Petersburg, barely clinching the win on the final restart. 45 has shown quiet speed here at these road courses. Harry Williams in that 87. We're going to look at the helicopter cam as he goes down the little straightaway.
Yeah, he's keeping a pretty good gap to Mr. McDaniels here. I'm not sure if it's that Ian is saving tires or that's just the speed, the difference in speed right there. But whatever he's doing it right.
There's LJ Toledo. He's got a little bit of a gap. We were saying that Toledo would be working on the 78 car, but it seems like the 78 has gapped Toledo now. All alone there, sitting in 3rd place.
Yeah, he really has fallen to no man's land.
So the 20 has gotten his way back out on track. Fridge able to get the problem resolved. They said it was an alternator issue. The problem is he's sitting in 39th, 3 laps down.
Oh man, that sucks for him. Those are genuinely the worst. When you know you can't do anything, even though you've done nothing wrong. That one stings.
I mean, that's just very unfortunate. You hate to see when an issue out of your control just takes you out of a good finish. Even if, I mean, Fridge already, I would say, that's his worst aspect. He very much struggles at road courses. And with that sort of issue, definitely does not help his confidence. Last road course on the schedule, of course, we're in the winding down parts of the year. But you definitely want to end the last road course on a high note, and that's definitely not what Fridge wanted, especially with the championship race winding down.
Yeah, no, that's just horrible, especially the momentum coming into next race. Just think about that.
And you know what the next race is? Talladega.
Oh boy.
So you're going to be wanting all of the momentum heading into the next race, especially for Garrett Lamar, who, in the lead right now, has 2 wins on the year, all on road courses, looking for his 3rd. But Tom Gill in the 79 on laps 19 of 23. You mentioned as the laps were going to wind down, this 78 is going to try to claw his way back. We're going to go on board with the 78. We're going to see how he works his way through this road course. See the elevation changes, as you mentioned.
Yeah, most of these turns are just fast, and at least the entry's blind, so you definitely got to drive this track with a lot of confidence and just a lot of trust in your car.
And just listen to the engine roar through that section of corners. It is just awesome hearing the sound of that engine.
Yeah, that's just beautiful. Just pure V8. At least in this generation of cars, still a four-gear manual. There we go. And yeah, that sounds just unmatchable in my opinion.
Here's Boston Jones in the 68. He's had a quiet day, but he's sitting within the top 15 in that 68 Sonic machine. A 45 of Arwen Basic has fallen down quite a few places as well. There's Christopher Marnell. I mean, these guys working their way through the field. A very interesting story to take note of for the 68. I
Yeah, I
mean,
mean, he stayed out of trouble. He's done what he has to do. Now,
yep,
all that's really left is just run down the laps and keep it clean.
that's 10th place that Boston Jones is in right now. As Marnell's in 11th. Basic has fallen down to 12th, so something happened with the 45 that made him lose positions. I
My
believe,
guess is he probably ran off track somewhere.
yeah, he must have ran off track when he was trying to fight or chase down the 22 car.
I mean, he was pushing pretty hard, so that's most likely what happened.
That is definitely what happened. But Marnell being in 11th should be solid enough for the team. As there's the 69 of Hayden Phillips also within the top 15. That's a good sign for that team. Also, another team we are unsure if they will return for next year, but they do have the WeatherTech sponsorship, and we're hoping that the WeatherTech crew can stay in the sport. We're on lap 21 of 23 now, 3 laps to go. They are in race number 21 of the season.
Garrett Lamar, he's definitely been keeping a steady lead, too. Hasn't really made many mistakes and hasn't really been challenged either, other than Tom Gill in, like, the restart.
That is certainly the performance that we like to see. I mean, there's the 37 of Alexander Rowe on track. He's made his way up some positions. Don't count him out. He is currently sitting in 19th place right now. 20th place, actually, the 37 is. So, made his way up from his original starting position, which is pretty good for him. That should be only 10 points separate Marnell and Rowe in terms of points gained for today.
Yeah, he definitely wants to just limit the damage as much as he can. Starting position definitely didn't help him, but it's the same thing as pretty much every other driver. He's kept out of trouble. He hasn't really had much noticeable things, but it's not completely a write-off for him.
17 of LJ Toledo as we're on lap 22 of 23. He's been sitting there, gaining laps. Who knows where this driver will be for next year? You never know. There's a wide range of options for LJ Toledo. He's shown his speed in Cup in the road courses. He's shown his talent in the Truck Series. It's going to be very interesting to see where Toledo goes.
Yeah, personally, racing him, I'm definitely excited to see what the future brings for him. Wherever he goes, I'm sure he would deserve it.
Lamar has the 78 in his mirror. I wouldn't say it's too much of a threat, but I mean, if he goes off track at any little point, that 78 is going to gobble him up. It's, let's say, a 1.5 second gap, maybe a 1.6 or 7 that's the longest it gets. It closes in, of course, at accordion effect through the corners.
Yeah. Right now, what Garrett has to do is not take many risks on his final lap. He might lose a couple tenths, but if it can get him in the long run to the line and he can keep it clean, that is just exactly the game plan he would go for here in the final lap.
Coming to the white flag for Garrett Lamar one more time around Barber Motorsports Park. He's been leading the majority of the race here today, and man, this 2.367 mile track has been all but conquered by Garrett Lamar. Only a few miles to go for this 30 car.
Yeah, I mean, he's proving his speed at road courses. Credit where credit is due. He came in, he got pulled, he did the job, and look at him now. He is at a prime spot for winning this race. So unless something goes very wrong for him, this is our race winner right here.
Tom Gill just behind him. The gap has not shrank, but it has not grown either. staying content in second place, hasn't been gaining that much time. You would think maybe the 78. Could he have worn out his tires too much? Because that's from I would say between lap 12 and now, that's 11 laps straight on tires.
Yeah, I mean, if he was really pushing to catch Lamar and maybe he slid the car a couple too many times, he definitely could have just overheated the tires and worn them.
Coming out of the final corner, getting his third win of the year, Garrett Lamar is going to win at Barber, matching Alexander Rowe on wins this season with 3. The road course champion for season 2, all 3 wins coming out of road course.
Well deserved win by Garrett too. He led a lot of laps. He was uncontested for a while of the race too. Only real time he ever had to battle somebody was on that restart after the big crash that we had where a car went up and over. And ever since then, it's just been smooth sailing for him.
What a race by Garrett Lamar. Surely ecstatic over the radio. Hopefully, he has made his way up in points. 3 wins on the year. All 3 coming at road courses. And probably, I would say, his home track. Lamar takes home the win. Tom Gill 2nd. LJ Toledo 3rd. Harry Williams 4th. McDaniel 5th. Rory Sharp 6th. Jonah Burge, Mitchell Collins, Colin Scarborough, Boston Jones round out your top 10.
Very, very impressive drive by Jones there. He, very quiet race, but he got the top 10, and, he should be proud of that.
Marnell, Basic, Phillips, Rue Sharp, Jimothy Sharp, Christian Vargas, Sam Francis, Spencer Davis, Barney Thresher, Alexander Rowe round out your top 20. Umar Al-Keen finishes 22nd, so he definitely made up some positions while racing in clean air out there. Roten 21st, Yuko Guthrie Guo, Lane Roland Dabo, Jerry Chen, Aaron Hunter round out your top 30. Nelson Reeves, Joshua Harrison, Axel Rocha, Sean McKean, David Kreutz, and then Josh Moore, then Richard Fridge, and then James Sharp, Nathan Stapleton, Keith Hughes all finished out of the race. So James Sharp had an engine issue that we didn't catch, and that's why he finished 38th.
And that's unfortunate for him too. That one had to suck.
Well, here are the point standings. That lead has shrank. Look at that. Alexander Rowe, 626. Christopher Marnell, 603. That's a 23-point gap between Rowe and Marnell. McDaniel has moved his way into 3rd place.
That is
standings.
That is impressive. Ian's definitely establishing himself as a competitor here. Things go his way in these final rounds, I could definitely see him in the title picture.
And honestly, a bad race from Rowe, an okay race from Marnell, and a good race from McDaniel, that puts a bunch of people in that championship picture, because then that puts Francis in, that puts Fridge back in it, and that puts, I would say, Harry Williams and some other drivers in it as well as we look through the rest of the points standings so far. McKean and Guo, I would say 2 very disappointing seasons from Season 1 championship contenders. They are 22nd and 26th on the year.
Yeah, I don't know what they did over the break, but whatever it was, didn't work. They might want to go back to square one and just work on the car again, get the setups down, and just gain more confidence for next season. I'd just write this one off completely at that point.
Well, certainly was a very fun race today. Mr. Garcia, it was awesome having you in the booth. What did you think of the race?
great race overall. I actually had a lot of fun watching it and a lot of fun commentating.
Well, I'm glad you could join us up in the booth. Hopefully, we see you out on track, maybe in a cup car, maybe in a truck car. You never know. The next time we'll see you on track is at Martinsville for the Truck Series in a few weeks. But the next time these cup cars will be in action, next week, Talladega for the with only 4 races to go in the season. I tell you what, that's going to be a fun one.
Oh yeah, Talladega, only 4 races to go. Everybody is going to be searching for maximum points. So I'd expect maybe a big wreck or two out of that race. And who knows, maybe I could have championship implications, big ones at that.
Alrighty. Well, to Mr. Garcia, thank you so much for being in the race, in the booth for today. We will see everybody next week for the next race, the NCS Sim Racing Challenge.